Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/TrueOffMyChest, where OP finally saw what a toxic marriage looks like. Let's begin. My mom cheated on my dad, and I get why. Posted by Reddit user Pink Curls.
So back when I was teen, it was discovered that my mom was carrying on an affair with another man. My dad ended up forgiving my mom and moving forward together. I held resentment from my mom for a really long time because how dare she do that to my dad. Hindsight is 20/20 though. Well, now as I am an adult, pushing 30, I can see their relationship for what it is. My dad is a great dad, absolutely wonderful, although I can see the misogyny from how he was raised at that period of time. As a husband or partner, I can see how lousy he is. My mom is basically his mom too. She does all the cleaning in their house. He can't be bothered to even wash a dish or clean up after himself. My mom does it all. The mental load, she takes it all. Keeping track of groceries they need for the next shopping trip. She's in charge of paying all the bills, cooking the meals. Oh, and she still has to work her regular job full-time, 45 plus hours a week. My dad's health isn't the greatest, so my mom has also become his nurse when he is ill, managing the myriad of his medications and general health. Also, she cares for my grandma as she is sick too with a couple diseases, so on top of everything she does, she manages grandma's health too. All without a thank you or you're appreciated. This past Christmas put everything into perspective. My mom coordinated with my siblings to all go in on a super expensive gift for him for Christmas. An item he really wants. The effort he put into her gift, 0. He got her absolutely nothing. I spoke to him privately prior to gift exchange about what he got my mom, claiming, well, I buy her nice anniversary and birthday gifts, isn't that enough? I see the disappointment my mom feels on her face, and it hurts me. She doesn't get just because flowers from him. It's like he sees her as just a person to take care of him and home. This has been their whole relationship, not just after the affair, but prior to it too. So although I absolutely do not condone cheating, I can understand why she did what she did back then. I get sad thinking of my mom and how she takes care of everyone, but the person who is supposed to take care of her doesn't do that. I catch myself thinking occasionally they should really just get divorced. I have learned over the years to really cherish my mom, so even if he doesn't spoil her, I do. Take her on many weekend trips. We go to out-of-town concerts together. I try to buy her small, just thinking of you gifts so she can feel appreciated and loved. Update, I guess. So I didn't expect this to blow up, but I guess it was posted to TikTok and it did its thing. So I don't know if this is really an update, but I just want to clarify things. This affair was a one-time affair that happened over 15 years ago. Dad forgave mom. My parents moved on from the issue together. So all of you can move on from it too. In general, they are doing okay and love each other dearly. I understand my post made it seem like I favor my mother. In reality, I love both equally, although I may favor my dad just a smidge because I am a daddy's girl. But just because I am a daddy's girl doesn't mean that I can't call him out that he doesn't equally pull his weight in terms of the housework load distribution and emotional weight. It is unfair that my mom has to manage everything. In no way was I condoning infidelity, just that things are not so black and white as Reddit tends to think. Cheating is not okay, yet sometimes there are nuances to it. Just that it starts with a person being unappreciated and unloved and turns into just a mother, rather a wife. That they seek those pretty words somewhere else, and it can spiral into something you never meant it to be. I was just observing and reflecting that their relationship isn't something that I want for myself. I don't want a partner that I have to be their mother because they refuse to do their share in the relationship. How can you maintain attraction and chemistry with a partner you have to baby? And on the other hand, betraying a partner is something I could never do. I've seen it with my eyes and refuse to take part in that. So in short, Reddit, learn from my parents' mistakes. Please take care of your significant others and treat each other as partners and equals and not as house cleaners and caretakers. And don't cheat on them either, because that hardly ever ends well and just causes severe pain on the other person.
OP, based on what you just posted, your parents' marriage is toxic as hell. A man-child that can't do anything for himself is married to a cheater. Of course he is. This explains why he didn't leave her after discovering the affair. He quite literally cannot live without her. That's not love, it's dependency. Your mother, on the other hand, stepped outside of the marriage, got pumped and dumped by Chad, and now she's stuck living a miserable life. Listen, OP, the only reason your mother is still married to your dad is because the other dude didn't want to commit. If the relationship between them actually worked out, your mom would have abandoned your loser dad a long time ago. As much as you deny it, as much as you don't want to accept it, relationships are actually just plain black and white. If you're having issues, you talk it out with your partner. If they don't want to change or at least compromise, you leave. Infidelity, on the other hand, is a different story. There's no negotiation there. You just tell them to fuck off immediately. I don't understand why so many people can't understand this simple concept. I'm just ranting at this point. Anyways, OP, I'm glad that you somewhat understand that your parents has a toxic marriage. And I'm glad to hear that you are not gonna walk the same path. Good luck, OP. And now for today's second story. Fire me for speaking up, enjoy going out of business. Posted by Reddit user lolwuthmufflers.
Many years ago, I worked at an automotive repair shop that was owned by a very nasty person. This person actually had 2 shops that he ran, and the best way I can describe him was as a tyrant. Both shops had cameras, and he would watch us work from the comfort of his home. If he saw something he didn't like, such as taking a 5-minute smoke break, or not sweeping for half a minute during downtime, or if he just wanted to bust balls, he would call the shop and harass us. Or better yet, at times show up and harass us in person. In addition, he would regularly berate us for no reason, threaten to not pay us because the shops weren't busy, and would have an absolute meltdown if you dared question his authority. It was spectacular in the worst of ways. After working for him for a few months and dealing with his shenanigans and getting sick of pointless arguments with him, I started reconsidering my employment there. Around the same time, the owner decided to move me from one shop to the other, really for no reason other than likely to try push me out, as that was what he did with the few people that I had already worked with. Odd coincidence being that I had not discussed my thoughts of leaving with anyone, but I digress. I genuinely disliked the idea of working at this other shop. It was older and a bit run down, plus it was in a pretty terrible area with high crime. But I wanted to line something up elsewhere before I jumped ship, so I made the move. This is where the beginning of the end started for old Mr. Owner. Once I got settled into the new shop, I got to talking with my fellow technicians. As it turns out, the owner was unsurprisingly a racist scumbag, and every single one of the employees at this location, aside from me, was African American. I'll spare you the details, but let's just say it's a miracle that the owner came into the shop, said what he said, and walked out breathing. In addition, he would regularly send people home with no pay for the day just to be an ass. This went on for a few weeks, him coming by, being nasty to all of us, and I was over it, and was just about to leave as I had lined up other employment. The other techs were also over it. I went to give the owner my 2 weeks' notice via phone, discreetly, which I should have known wasn't a great idea, and instead of discussing it like a human, he decided to come down and talk face to face. Well, our friend was so incensed that I put my notice in that he forced me to clock out and go home, and also forced 2 other techs who decided to stand up for me to do the same. I decided that I had enough of this guy's shit, and that not only did he deserve to have some kind of reciprocation against him, but the other techs deserved better than to continually being walked on. So I filed a complaint with the Department of Labor and outlined everything. Within a few days they had launched an investigation, and of course the owner found out who filed the complaint and called the shop and gave me hell about it, stupidly, because the phones he had were on recorded lines. Guess who I had requested to listen to that conversation? In the end, I was terminated by him prior to my 2 weeks being up, as were the 2 techs who stood behind me. I filed for unemployment, which he fought me on by filing appeals with a judge, then not showing up 3 times in a row. This prompted the judge to bar him from requesting appeals against me and granting me full unemployment pay. Months later, I got a written letter from him extending an apology and an offer to work for him again. 2 months later, I got a letter from the Department of Labor saying that the investigation was closed and that he had been found guilty of multiple charges and was barred from operating a shop or any other business in the state for several years. TLDR. Fucked around with my sanity, lost the ability to own shit.
This is where the saying karma's a bitch truly applies. It also disappoints me that no one thought to go to the Department of Labor except OP. There's this new thing that just came out a few days ago. It's called rights and labor laws. People definitely should do their research about that. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.